Hello, I'm Chris Howe at Smoky Mtn Inspection Services, and welcome back into our studio. On today's episode, I will walk you through the login, the viewing, and the creating of your repair list using HomeGauge Software. So stay tuned for all the information. So let's jump into it. At some point before the home inspection, you would have received an email with an inspection agreement. And you would have had the same username and password and the same link back to our website to review the inspection agreement and then click on it to agree to the terms. So at this point, we are going to assume you've already received that email. Whether or not you've done the process, we'll get to that in a moment. So your email arrives and it gives you your username and password, which is seen here, and it tells you to click on this link, Smoky Mtn Inspection Services. So when you do that, the email tells you to scroll down to the bottom, and while we're doing that, just a little bit about us. You can learn that here on our website. We offer home inspections, commercial building inspections, mold testing, and we do the HUD compliance as far as getting all the data that the engineers need for the structural engineering reports on manufactured homes. We're also licensed residential thermal imaging inspectors, and there's a place for you to review us, contact us, and a pay now button. So we're going to scroll to the bottom, and if we recall from our email, it tells us that we are to log in. So I'm going to use the information here under username and password and then log in. We will then click sign in. And this will take you to your dashboard. If we've done inspections for you in the past, those will also show up. So let's just say the first house didn't work out for whatever reason, and you chose the second house. So we'll just say on this one that you've already seen all the information, and we'll use the most recent inspection report to go through the dashboard. So at this point, you would click on Inspection Details. And when you go inside your dashboard here, it will tell you that the inspection agreement has not been signed yet. So before you can review the report, you have to review the terms of the inspection agreement and then electronically agree online. So you would come in here to View Agreement, and then the inspection agreement would show up here, and then you can view the full document. But basically, you would go through the inspection agreement, and it's quite lengthy. And then at the bottom, you can just click Agreed, and then you can type in your name. Then click Sign Agreement. It tells us that the agreement was successfully signed, and now we can go in up here and view the report. Down here it says create a request list, but you really need to review the report before you create the request list. So here we are at the cover page of the report. The report also allows you to download the report into a PDF if you want to email that to someone. Of course, any of the electronic features, the 360 views, any videos in the report would not show up. It would just be in a flat PDF format. You can also share the report with others. So you see on the cover page here that you have a couple of nice photos of the property that was inspected. The second page on the table of contents, these are all hyperlinks. So if you've logged into the report before and you just need to remember something about the plumbing, then you can go to Chapter 6, just click on plumbing, and it will take you there. But for our purposes, we'll go scrolling through and see what the report looks like. On the third page, everything in the home that we inspect has a grade. F is functioning, C is conditional, D is defective, T is typical, NA is not applicable, MP not present, or NI not inspected. So the report gives you some basic details about the home, the temperature, which way the home faces as far as the front. And then we get into Chapter 1, the roofing. So the roof is further broken down into roof coverings, and you can see that you get a nice selection of pictures. Even though there's nothing wrong with the roof, we like to put in the general pictures so you have them for reference. You can take any picture and double click on it, and then you can get an expanded version of that photo. And then by simply clicking on the picture, it takes you back to the report. So the first thing you see is just a lot of nice photos of the roof that you can reference in the future. If there's anything going on with the roof, these will also be mentioned here, and our software allows us to draw circles around objects that we need to draw your attention to. We can put arrows in, whatever we need to do to draw your attention to the fact that here shingles are missing on the left front side and on the back. So along with the roofing, there's flashing, skylight chimneys, dormers, roof drainage systems, the gutters. And if there's no photos or not a lot in the narrative, and you can see here that the grade was functioning, then we just move on. And then here's your key down here, F, C, D, T for typical. That means it's working, but it's typical for its age. And then your NA, MP, and NI, which correspond with these boxes. So if you see anything marked in the conditional or the defective, then that's when you really need to pay attention to the report, because we are giving you some vital information there. So the next chapter is just broken down into exterior. All the different categories of the exterior are shown here. You may notice that some of the narrative is in different colors, and we'll get to that in the end of the report. In chapter 3, it will be the garage. And there are times when we will actually include videos inside the report. If something's making a loud noise or it's hard to describe with words, we'll put the video in there so you and your contractor can see exactly what's going on. So you simply just hit play, and those audios, the video also comes with audio. You can expand the video if you want to see it in full screen. So you get the idea there. So chapter 4, the interior, definitely want to show you one of the features that we put in their reports here. Again, if a floor is squeaking, we try to identify exactly where that's at, put that into the narrative, and then we will include a video as well. But down at the bottom, all the doors are evaluated, the light fixtures, the windows, anything visible in the home will be part of the home inspection as per the ASHI standards, within the acceptance of what we're not required to inspect by our ASHI standards. So as a thank you, we don't charge any extra for this, but we'll even include 360 photos in the report. So maybe some of your family members want to see inside the home. You can send them this report, and they can actually take those photos. Here we can expand out, and we can spin the entire room. We can look up, and we can look down. So if some of your family members want to see the home, or perhaps you're just trying to figure out how the couch, the chair, or the dining room table is going to fit into your space, then you can click on these photos and get a good idea of what the layout of the area was. So I'm going to scroll on through. Again, there's the structural components, which is all your foundation. And regardless if anything is going on in the foundation, in the crawl space, I like to put several photos in there just so you have it as a reference. I'm sure you don't want to crawl under the home, so while I'm there, I'll go ahead and just take a lot of photos and document that for you. On occasion, we also use our Big Crawler 360 remote control truck. And I have a video in here of that. There are some places that I just can't get into, but there are a few places that my remote control truck cannot go. So in those tight spaces, we're still inspecting. Scrolling on down through the report, also in the attic, a lot of times we will take general photos, even though there may not be anything wrong, just to give you a good idea of what's going on in the attic. Your plumbing system's fully evaluated. The electrical system. Some thermal imaging of some switches that were overheating. Your heating and cooling, depending on the temperature, if it's below 60, we will not turn on the heat pumps in the air conditioned mode. And if it's above 80, we will not turn on the heat pump. But if it's between 60 and 80, then we'll evaluate both. Some general photos of the data tags. Chapter 9 is insulation and ventilation. And finally, Chapter 10, built-in kitchen appliances. Again, if something is making a loud noise in a dishwasher, then we'll include a video of that. And finally, down at the bottom, there are 3 different types of summaries listed in our report. There are the safety issues, and it will go back and selectively pull out the items from the report that you just viewed that are considered safety issues. It'll list those. Next is the marginal issues. Things that are working but need some repair, different things in the home that at some point are going to need some attention. Those show up in the marginal issues. And again, these are all just summaries of the things that you've already read within the report. And finally, the dreaded major issues. And this is where the different text colorings comes in. The major issues, the text will be in red. The marginal issues, the text will be in blue. And the safety issues, that's just in the standard black text. And finally, your invoice. And it will tell you at the bottom whether or not it's been paid yet or if it's still pending. Once you have reviewed your report and you've called me with any questions and you feel that you're confident to fill out your repair list to give to your real estate agent, all you have to do next is come back to My Inspections, go back into inspection details on the report that you're wanting to fill out the repair list. Come down here and hit Create List, Inspection Report. What the software will do at this point is it will go back and bring up each item in that report or just the summary items, whichever way you want to fill out your repair list. So you can see up here it says create a request list for 124 Oak Drive. And you can either select all 55 items, which most of those are just minors, or you can select the summary items only. So just to save time, we're going to select the summary items only and hit OK. So the first thing that was brought up starts with Chapter 1, and it reminds us again that shingles are missing. So at this point, we have a few choices to make. We can accept as is, or we can add it to the list. So we would like to add that to the list. You can also hear it'll cycle through the photos as you're doing other tasks here, or you can hit the arrows and cycle through on your own. So let's add that to our list. Once we do that, the software wants to know, what do you want performed on the missing shingles? Do you want them repaired? Do you want them replaced? Or you just simply want a monetary value where you will fix it once you take possession of the home? So let's just say in this case, we decided that we wanted the monetary value and we wanted $125 for our time. It also has a place here that you can put in your own comment, and that comment will show above the inspector's comments. So you can type in whatever you want here. And then once we're finished with that item, we will hit Save Request. And it'll bring up the next item, missing handrail. And let's say this time we'll just accept that as is. So you also see up here there's a taskbar running, and it's going to tell you how much more you have to go. Here it tells us we're 15.4% completed. So just to save time, I'm going to go through and accept as is most of these items, because I want to show you what the repair list looks like. The squeaky floors, let's add that to the list. And let's say we want those repaired. Save request. Air gap under the door, that's no big deal. Doors that are needing a minor adjustment because they're dragging on the frame, we'll add that to the list and we'll say repair. And I'll just put a note, please correct. Add that to my save request list. So from here on out, I'm just going to hit accept as is to save time. So here we are. It says you have completed all visible items. And you can now review the request list. If you forgot something, or maybe when you talk to your spouse there's something they wanted to add, you could go back and continue editing the request list. So here we can either hit OK, or we can view the request list. If we scroll down, there's nothing else that's mentioned down here at the bottom. So let's view the request list. So now the 40 to 60 page home inspection report has been watered down in just a few pages. We can see that it included our items here. And please note here, even though it doesn't say buyer comment, your comment is showing up right here where it says I will take care of. Below anything where it says inspector's comments, those are my original comments from the report. So we ask the realtors not to confuse what the buyer says versus what the inspector is saying. So we go through and we see down here at the bottom, itemized total, $125, repair requests, 2 items, and replacement request, 0. So at this point, I can send the list if my realtor or whomever is included as an attachment on the home inspection report, or I can download the list and then send it to my contractor, to my realtor, whomever. So in this case, let's hit send list. And if your realtor is included as a recipient on the report, then I'm playing like I'm a realtor here, and the box is checked. I could hit send email, and it would send you, the buyer, a copy, and it would send your realtor a copy as well. And then you could also include other email addresses for whomever is interested in the repair of this home. We can also hit download PDF. And now you have a PDF version that you can attach to an email and send to whomever. Just remember again that any videos will not be included since it is a PDF document. And there you have it. That's a tour of the Smoky Mountain Inspection Services Home Inspection Report. We hope you found all this information very useful. To book your next home inspection, contact us today.